Bienvenidos, soy la Bruja Espinada, and I am here with a very special full moon in Pisces reading. So let's get started. Not only is this a super full moon, but it is a lunar eclipse, and it's very significant because it is in Pisces. It has a lot to do with emotions. And we start off with the Eight of Wands. There's quite a bit of difficulties that is followed with the Three of Pentacles, the Eight of Swords, the Ace of Swords, Temperance, Page of Cups, Nine of Wands, 10 of Wands, the Fool. We're going to stop right there really quick. I'm going to continue to pull some more cards. They're relevant, but let us get down to the nitty-gritty. What is going on? What are you struggling with? Well, if you feel that at this moment you've been doing everything that you've been guided to do, and yet you still feel there is some struggle, that's not necessarily a bad thing. So I've mentioned this, if you're a follower of my readings, one of the recurring themes is the concept of finding balance. Now, having shared some wisdom that has been shared with me is that we're never truly balanced. There's no even balance on any plane that we try to improve. And it's hitting all different quadrants, which is emotional, physical, mental, spiritual. Okay, so those four quadrants, it's like a scale, but it's like a scale that has four different sections. None of them are all truly balanced. There is some area where we tend to give a little bit more of our attention to. Usually that happens when we're really trying to focus on, securing our finances, and we put a lot of work into doing a good job, training, so that we can ensure that everything that's going to come back to us monetarily is there. But then we start to lack in other areas, which is like we're not properly working on our emotional needs. So we may be super focused on securing our bag, that we might start to lack in that emotional connection with others, that emotional connection with ourselves. And that also ties into mental health. So emotional and mental, while they seem similar, emotional is what I like to state is what I like to associate with not just yourself, but your interpersonal connections. So emotionally, you might be not. Any emotional unwellness has a lot to do with a lot of connections that you have. That also includes with yourself. So let's say you're so focused on school and work that you're neglecting your family, your friends, your partners, your children. You're neglecting yourself emotionally, that you're not letting yourself unwind the way that you should. And that inflicts and causes a lot of stress, which then starts to hinder our mental state. The way that we think, the way that we process. So in that sense, all of these are tied together. There's not one that's not tied to the other, but it's what I like to state: your physical, which is your heart, mind, soul, and your body, right? Heart, mind, soul, and body. Those are the four quadrants. Heart is your emotion, mind is your mental, body is your physical being, and your soul, of course, is your spirituality. Working on that connection with your higher power, whatever that might be, whatever you practice. So The Eight of Wands isn't necessarily that you're going to be incurring any more struggles that you've already experienced. Rather, it's just that it's the 8. So the 8 is an even number, has a lot to do with balance. You have to work, or you're rather, what I want to say is you're focusing too much on one thing. You need to take a step back and look where you need to rebalance. We're followed by the Three of Pentacles. So if you've been primarily focusing on securing your finances, this is like a step in the right direction. Your money is healthy in this sense. So that's not what needs to be focused on in regards to that balancing act that we were just talking about. We are followed by the Eight of Swords. Again, another 8, another balancing struggle. There is if you need some guidance as to, hey, I've been working on trying to balance everything, so I don't know where I'm lacking. I'm going to tell you right now, there is we have a lot of wands. So that's a lot of determination. It has a lot to do with the things that you're passionate about, things that you're dedicated to, that drive that you have. You have it. There's no lack in dedication and your determination. No one can question you on that. However, in this sense, where this is telling you that you really need to start focusing on, we have the Ace of Swords that's followed by the Eight of Swords. Remember, the Ace is the start of a new cycle, right? Or it's something new. So this Ace, the struggle is clearing your throat chakra, is the things that you say, whether it's you need to relearn a specific type of communication. It could be like, if it's work related, you could say like, you know what, I just don't know how to like really promote my business. I really don't know how to promote this product. That's difficulty with your communication. Remember, Swords is an associate of the air sign, so it has a lot to do with vocalization and communication. There is quite a bit of struggle with that. So it's not just one area. I'm letting you know. There is an imbalance. So yes, you're determined to get your project off the ground. That's all well and good. So communication is one of the areas that you are struggling in, and you need to focus on how to communicate. Or, excuse me, if it's not work related, it could be communication with a partner, communicating how you feel with your family members, with a child, with a parent, with a lover, with a friend. It doesn't matter. There's some communication that there is some struggle in when we have the Eight of Swords. That's just that, what they refer to as a stalemate. Usually when it's an even number, we start to see a little bit more tipping of the scale. But in this case, it's an actual stalemate. And the only thing that needs to be, that's going to break that stalemate, is this extra ace, this additional sword. It's that learning a new way to communicate. There is a reminder with the Temperance card is to be patient. Let's put pause right here with the patience. Well, it's hand in hand, right? The Ace of Swords is also an indicator, especially now that it is the full moon, how to manifest. I've spoken about this before, and it is a reminder that when you speak to Mama Luna and you give her your thanks, because remember, tonight transitioning into tomorrow is the full moon. And so there's a lot of different practices in which they state you should never put into manifestation on the night of an eclipse. That depends on what you believe, right? You are the manifester of your own magic. However, what I like to recommend is that If there are some wrongs that you have, whether intentionally or unintentionally done, it is wise to be careful on how you ask for things. So, and the reason why I say this, again, it has a lot to do with how you manifest, how you communicate what these wants and or needs are. So it's kind of like that saying of like, be careful what you wish for, especially in the night of an eclipse. And if you feel like, you know what, I may have wronged somebody, but I sincerely need this help, how do I go about it? Let me answer that for you. You give your thanks to Mama Luna. Go out, look at her, take in her beauty, thank her, say, Mama Luna, thank you for your protection, thank you for your guidance, thank you for your healing. Should I have wronged anyone, I beg forgiveness. Whether I intentionally or rather, if I have unintentionally caused harm to someone, know that I apologize sincerely from my heart. If it was intentional, I just recommend you don't request anything. Wait. Again, because if you've intentionally harmed someone and you try to manifest, it could be undone. There's a lot of different reasons for that. Most people think of it as karmic. It's kind of like the higher power would determine whether or not you deserve that, right? Not a lot of people believe that. If you don't, take this with a grain of salt. It shouldn't matter, right? However, it is a time to manifest. So what I do recommend is like state, same thing, Mama Luna, if I have unintentionally harmed someone, know that I am sorry, and be sincere about it. And then you start to manifest. Now here's a reminder. When you manifest, and I cannot hone in on this enough, and I have someone that can truly attest to the factualness of this. When you manifest and you make your I am, I have, I statements, do not list what you don't want. State clearly and only what you are striving for. I am financially successful. I am healthy. I am happy. Not I have a job that doesn't make me feel. No. Don't put any negative statements into there. Do not put what you don't want. Strictly and only put what you do want. That is learning a huge communication win. Okay, so take that, take note, make sure you practice that. Yes, we know what you don't want. Focus on what you do want. It's a hard switch to flick on, but you need to practice it. And remember that once you speak it into the universe, have the patience to let it go. Don't keep praying for the same thing over and over. Pray for it once, state it clearly, let it go. There's also some emotional learning as we have the Page of Cups. So if you feel like you're unsure where you need to work on your balance, it is with communication and emotions. This could also be that you have a lot of emotions pent up inside and you don't know how to communicate them, or you have to find a new way to go about expressing it because Whoever you're trying to express it to does not understand. And that's perfectly fine. This is new beginnings, and this shows with the ace, the page, and then we have the Fool again. The Fool once again shows up. A new perspective, something new. Again, we have the 9 of Wands, and then we have the 10 of Wands. So from the 8 of Wands, we go to the 9 of Wands. So remember, this is like a tipping point. The 9 is that tipping point of that struggle. It's, I don't want to say burden being added on, but it's just like, this reading in and of itself could be that feeling of like, damn it, I thought I was doing good. That doesn't mean that you're not doing good. It's just a reminder. Remember, I started with this. It is a reminder that you're focusing too much on one thing and you need to balance out. You're over compensating in one portion of those 4 quadrants. Communication and emotion is lacking. This is just that reminder, okay? And it's the end of a cycle. Taking care of this is just going to make your load lighter. When you see the 10 of Wands, it is that end of that struggle. You're there. And so technically this is not necessarily a burden, but it is a learning experience, something that you can use all that determination to refocus it somewhere else, which is what we have: communication and emotion. We have the Fool card. The Fool card, as you see here, it's depicted by someone who seems to have had their heart broken. They're looking at a text. They are actually, it is not a happy text. And if you were to see it closely, there's like this little icon right here, and it's a little skull. It is a little skull, and typically that skull is associated with death. It's an end to something so that a new cycle can begin. So you might have gotten your hopes up for something. It might not have panned out. Oh, that's okay. It's the cycle of something new. You're entering a new season. We're in the middle of the lunar cycle. As we progress into the new cycle, the new lunar cycle in 2 weeks. This is just a reminder that we're at an interesting halfway point where this upcoming weekend is the autumnal equinox. It's the fall equinox. It is where there is an equal part of light for the day as well as the night, before our nights get darker and we start traveling into the winter season. This isn't necessarily a bad thing. This is a perfect opportunity to begin anew in speaking into existence what it is that you want, and to focus on how to balance your communication and your emotions. This will be met with good experiences, as we are here with the 4 of Cups. The 4 of Cups is typically an indicator of celebration, which is amazing. Now, as we have the 4 of Cups, which is all good things. As you see here, everything that's blooming from these cups are fragrant, beautiful flowers. Now, that reminder, that indicator of death, I spoke as I should have, because we have the Death card. Something is coming to an end, which is not a bad thing. Death is a reminder that cycles come to an end, as we saw here with the 10 of Wands. The cycle is ending. We're ending a season and we're starting a new one. And we're going to be starting the new season on the right foot. And speaking of feet, we have the 9 of Pentacles. Look at all these kitty paws. 9 of Pentacles is abundance. It's good abundance. It's abundance in resources, whether that's information, whether that's monetary, assistance. That is there for you as this season is coming through. Let things go as they should, and something better will be waiting for you. So I'm just going through. There is quite a bit of there's not a lot of pentacles. However, what there is an abundance of is the Four of Swords, the Six of Wands, the Nine of Cups, the Nine of Swords, and the Knight of Swords. A lot of swords. So if you were like, are you sure it's communication? It's communication and it's emotions. So learn to properly communicate what it is that you want to express. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with yourself. Don't rush into spilling anything out. Swords are all an indicator of using your words wisely. So this is a learning experience as we have the Knight. You're going to get better at communicating what it is that you need to communicate to get yourself understood, to get yourself heard. It's going to happen. Just make sure you apply what it is that you've learned today. Mighty Fates, what additional lesson do you have for our watchers today? Mighty Fates, what additional lesson do you have for our watchers today? But yeah, there's a lot of things that you aren't letting yourself feel, and that's why the Fool is here. The Fool is that, well, what I'm going to say is the last card that was at the bottom of this deck was the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands, and it's followed by the Five of Wands. And then it's followed by the Devil. Here's what I'm going to tell you. I wasn't going to pull them, but I will. So before I tell you what card just fell out, I'm going to explain something. The reason why the Devil has come out is because it's in regards to habits. We have the Five of Wands, which is not a tipping, well, the Five of Wands typically indicates an obstacle, a struggle. And we see that, you know, the stalemate and things like that. But we have the Queen of Wands. Now, with the Fool that I just explained to you, the Fool has to learn something new. What this entire thing is telling you is to take advantage of the opportunity to make these emotional changes, to make your communication of these emotions a priority. Don't fall into the habit of being the determined badass bitch that you've always been. I'm not saying don't be one. I'm not saying that you aren't one. I'm just saying that you have to really focus on communicating and learning how to harness and deal with these emotions and how to communicate these emotions and the things that you feel. Otherwise, you're going to be continuing to struggle. Communication is key in this aspect. Don't fall into that bad habit. So let's see what the Mighty Fates have provided us. And it is the Underworld. The Underworld is the card we have been provided by the Mighty Fates. And let us see what it has to say. So, the Mighty Fates. State, if the Underworld card comes to you, it is either an invitation to go within yourself or it serves as an acknowledgement where you currently are. If you do not sense you are in the Underworld, then this card is asking you to take a pause and allow things that need to fall away to do so. If you are in the underworld at the moment, it can often feel like it is a trial after trial, loss after loss. It may also feel empty and uncomfortable. The underworld is where we die and we are reborn. It may also feel empty and uncomfortable. The underworld is where we die and where we are reborn. It holds the fire of transformation. Remember, wands is an indicator of fire. So many people resist being in the underworld or try to rush the journey, but this card is asking you to settle into it and surrender. Give yourself permission to be in this in-between space and welcome the changes to the best of your ability. While we are in the underworld, we need to allow ourselves to be there without anticipating the rebirth. We must simply be there. Okay, so again, we have the death card, we have the Fool card. Both indicators of a cycle ending and a cycle beginning. Now, the Temperance card came out. There's that patience. Some people, I don't want to say we all, some people will try to rush. And the whole thing is you're not going to rush through learning. You're not going to rush through learning. So considering that this is something that you really need to focus on, don't rush to manifest, especially since it's a lunar eclipse. Like I was explaining, some people have some unfinished karma that they need to work through. So maybe this full moon isn't exactly the one, especially since it's a full moon in Pisces that has a lot to do with emotion. Take that into consideration. I don't make this shit up, guys. So we are visited by the Beast Spirit. Sweet results await. So if you needed any more clear indicator of your patience, I don't know who needed to hear this one, but someone sure as hell did. And Spirit done told you. So, Bee Spirit. The Bee's Spirit message is that sweet rewards are on their way. If you are willing to get your ego out of the way. And immerse yourself in the connected energy of all things. Bee Spirit knows not to let a sense of being a separate self get in the way of a good thing. Spirit is always producing honey. Miracles and magic are everywhere. When you connect with the great hive, you are vibrating and buzzing in exquisite harmony with all. Bee Spirit asks that your focus be on connectivity. Your body, heart, soul, and psyche experience total interconnectedness and the true integration when you forget or you self-forget. When you remember that you are a part of a greater unified consciousness. Moving from separation into connection, from self-centered limitation to spirit-centered infinite possibility and potential, you become busy as a bee, enjoying the gifts of Bee Spirit, fully in alignment with your highest expression of yourself. Your heart opens and creativity rushes through you, seemingly without effort, as you experience that nothing feels like work. Industriousness is driven by enthusiasm and inner motivation, and time seems to fly by quickly as the hive supports you in the making of honey. Do you feel the presence of your helpers in the hidden realms, adding their energy to your creations? Magical results are taking form and will be sweeter than you expected. Bee Spirit wants you to remember that your part in the divine partnership with the conscious universe is being rewarded even if you can't see it yet. And asks that you share your good fortune as there's plenty of honey for all. Be a part of the larger whole and the force that brings forth all that is sweet and delightful. When Spirit comes as your protector, she asks you to be very honest with yourself. Do you want to taste the sweet honey others have been making, but you believe is unattainable for you? Do you wonder how others ended up with so much magical honey when you seem to have none? Have you brought into the illusion of separation and become convinced that you can't have what others in the hive enjoy? Do you separate from the hive to do it all on your own, or to hoard what honey you have, unwilling to trust that there's plenty of support and plenty of sweetness to go around? If you have been overworking and overdoing and have not given yourself any time to enjoy the sweetness of life, Bee Spirit is telling you to stop and recharge. Perhaps you're afraid that if you don't get something done, it just won't get done. However, even busy bees need to take a break, and when they do, the honey still gets made. So remind yourself that the sweetness is everywhere and available to you always when you need it. Well, damn. As I explained, I don't make this shit up. You guys see me shuffle. And you gotta cut that bad habit, because the sweet results await. Now, I hope this message helps. Focus on what you need to focus on, and I'll see you guys next time.